So welcome back everyone, Mike here. Had a little change of plans here this morning. I was going to go over to neighbor Cliff's place, do some grading around their swimming pool. If you remember a while back, they put in a real nice in-ground pool, all fiberglass, all one piece, poured some concrete, and they recently built a beautiful pool house. I can't wait to show you that. It's really, really nice. But I was going to head over there, and we had some rain this morning, and so I'm kind of letting things dry out. The sun's out now, it won't take long. And by the way, the rest of the week looks fantastic. So instead of sitting around this morning, I thought, you know what, I'm going to come down here and saw off this cherry log. And by the way, today is a sponsored video. This video is sponsored by Simply Safe. Now, if you remember a while back, I did another video on Simply Safe, but I really couldn't tell you a whole lot about it, except for the fact that it was very easy to install, because when we did the video, I hadn't used it for any length of time at all. However, after using it for a few months, I do really like the system, and we'll touch more on that later. But right now, we're going to tear into this cherry log here behind me. It's one of those ones, doesn't look real good on the outside, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I think it's going to be a pretty nice log. This log came from, I'm trying to remember, it's kind of nice knowing from which part of the property things come from, but you get a big pile of logs. But I think this one came from down by my sister's house. It blew down in a storm across the field. That was like last year. I saved a couple saw logs, brought it up here, anchor sealed the ends, and here we are today. We're going to make it into some boards. This one isn't real big. It's about 16 inches in diameter. That's at the far end. This end's about 14 and a half, 15 inches. Not perfectly straight, but I think the color should be pretty decent. I think it should be a pretty decent log. We'll see. But I'm going to get started right now. And by the way, this log here has some bark on it, some off of it. I will run the debarker on this. A lot of people ask questions why I don't use it all the time. If the log's dirty or has bark on it, I use the debarker. If it's not, I don't use it. It's just one more thing to think about, and I'm still learning. But I tell you what, I am really, really enjoying this sawmill. I look forward to getting inside a building here before winter. That's the plan. Got to finish the mini cabin. Got all sorts of things going on, but we'll see. We'll get there. One thing I wanted to show you, this log here is about 8 feet, 6 inches long, something like that. And normally with logs at that length on this LX150, I like to have it a couple inches more this way. I'm right on the edge of that rail. It's not going to hurt anything. So what I'm going to do, once I flatten that top off and flip it 180, I'll scoot that log this way just a couple inches, and it should work out just fine. So if you didn't see the last video, I will put that up above. But that was the one, we got a couple walls up on the mini cabin. So what the plan is here today, saw this log. Then I'm going to take the RK55 and maybe the box blade over to neighbor Cliff's, and then I'll have to take the RK24 over as well. I think we need to dig one little drain line, and that should all take about 4 hours maybe, I'm guessing. And then this evening, hope to build another wall for the mini cabin. That's the plan. If you watch some of our other videos using this mill, a lot of times I'll flip these logs, 180. I'll use the tractor, I'll put a choker strap on it and lift it up. This one is kind of borderline. It's not that big. I won't have any problems turning this one by hand. I've got some real big oaks over there, like 36 inchers, but I'm not going to saw them until I get this sitting on concrete. So far, nothing has moved. It remained level. Everything's working out real well. But that one log's got to be, you know, 5,000 pounds over there. I don't want to set it on here until I get it set up right. Now I'm going to scooch it that way just a little bit. Scooch. I don't even know, is that really a word? I've used it my whole life. Oh boy. That's good. Comes my help. Oh boy, she's got Stanley on a leash. I don't know how this is gonna go. Because Stanley can't be trusted.
Did you see on the way down here he had to stop and poop and I about ripped my arm off. That's my fault. I shouldn't have brought him.
I like your helmet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Helmet. I hope there's gloves.
Yeah, I got gloves for you.
My safety glasses.
Maybe we'll tie.
Okay, so you just missed what happened. It would have been viral. I was using the cant to pull this up, and you know, my strength, whew, I fell.
She almost went the whole way over it. She kind of got into it a little bit too much there, but yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be something on camera. And I came over and
it was just awkward, and I'm trying to get myself up, and Mike's like, wonder what that's going to look like, and he's like, oh, it wasn't on.
Camera wasn't on. So don't trip this time.
Right.
Or don't fall. Look at that.
Okay. That would have been good. If you all would have loved it.
All right, a couple things before we continue with this log. You remember how excited I was about these safety glasses? They have the bifocals in them. They're good to run the mill. You know, you can see the numbers, you can see what you're doing, but I struggle with these things because when you're walking, everything's like magnified and you're like tripping over stuff. So I don't think this is really the answer for me. I was wearing these the other day at work, and you know, I'm out on a job site and I'm like tripping around and I'm getting messed up because of these reading glasses on the bottom of these. So I think I'm gonna have to go back to breaking dollar store reading glasses every other day. So I think that's what I'm gonna do.
He breaks them or loses them.
I break a lot and lose a lot. I'm hard on them. But the other thing is, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that this video is sponsored by Simply Safe, and we have used that now for what, 2 months?
Yeah.
Ballpark, something like that. The first video that we did on it, like I said, I was just setting it up. It didn't take long at all to set it up. We did it all in one evening, and I couldn't really tell you what we thought of the system because we hadn't really used it yet. But after using it for 2 months, we really do like it. Now, one thing that's really nice about it is, you know, we have a big property right here, and even though we are technically home, you know, if somebody says, "Are you home today?" Yeah, I'm home. She may be somewhere, I may be a half mile from here over on the other hill, and it's something that we never really thought of before. Although you're home, you know, we used to not even lock our doors, and we live in a pretty good area around here, but there's always break-ins when people aren't around. And I really like the Simply Safe, I do. That doorbell camera, the only downside to the doorbell camera so far is that Hunter, if you don't know, our oldest son, he has autism, nonverbal, and he always puts pressure on me to go to Burger King. And you know, no matter what you're doing, he's handing you your car keys or your, you know, my truck keys, and gives me my wallet, and he's pointing outside, he wants to go somewhere. Now, what Hunter has done, because we're always looking at the Simply Safe app, checking on the dogs or whatever, so he knows that there's a camera on that doorbell. So the other day I'm sitting there and I hear the doorbell ring. I'm like, oh, somebody's here, you know. I check the camera, there's Hunter standing out there, and I go out on the deck, I'm like, Hunter, what do you want? And he doesn't point like this. He doesn't point,
he uses a flat hand.
He's going like this at the truck, like he wanted to go somewhere. So that's the only downside so far. And you want to tell him about what happened. This wasn't good.
Yeah, so Hunter has grand mal seizures, he has epilepsy, and he had a seizure in the driveway, and I had found him out cold, blood running out of his mouth, and of course I could tell that he was having a seizure, and you know, I'm going to spare all the other details, but we were able to check the cameras and see exactly what happened to make sure he didn't trip first, or you know, what kind of damage was done. But
what happened, Hannah and Eva were home, and they were inside, and sometimes Hunter, he'll just, you know, get up early in the morning, go outside for a little walk, check things out, make sure everything's in its place. And I had left, we were able to go back and look at the camera. I had left at like 6:35, right? 6:35 I left, and the girls were inside. They didn't know, you know, he's outside, and she pulled in a minute and a half later. So we knew that he was down for about a minute and a half, and we were able to figure out that it was a seizure. And he's had them in the past before. Usually they're stretched out, what, every year and a half, 2 years?
He has them about every year, but it's been, he just finished almost 3 years of not having one. So
yeah, and for a while there, remember he had one on Thanksgiving 1 year.
Thanksgiving.
And then Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving the following year. Really strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Simply Safe thing,
has a lot of benefits.
It does. And you know, when you see sponsored video, I know that bothers some people. We will never promote anything that we don't use and we don't like.
Or that we don't think that would be beneficial to you.
Yeah. And for
quickly,
us,
like the bikes, for example, Mike quickly was like, no, that's not me.
Yeah, and we love the bikes.
I'm like, we will use them, so
yeah,
you know what?
Yeah.
It's something that can benefit.
Yeah, and the Simply Safe thing for us, you know, we don't live in a big city. It's not some crime-ridden area, but we have a lot of stuff, and you know, you want that stuff protected. And I was never really worried about when we're home, you know, when we're at the house right there, because we got other cameras. We know what's going on up there. But like I said, we're technically home right now. Who knows what's going on up at the house? But if anything happens, we get a notification. We can check on the dogs. It works really well. And like I said, the way those things stick on, I think I showed that in the last video. We haven't had one problem with anything, and it works really, really well. And I'm thrilled with it so far. But anyway, let's get back to sawing up this cherry log. We're on the home stretch now. Once you get this thing squared up, we're on the third side right now. We're going to crank off some pretty nice boards. After we get down a few, Melissa will get the blower out, blow it off, and we'll see what it looks like. But I think it's going to be a pretty nice log.
guys can check that board.
So I cut 2 pieces of 8/4 there. I was getting close to the center, and we hit a piece of metal there, but it didn't seem to hurt the blade at all. I don't know if that was a bullet or what that is. That might even be a bullet. Like I said, it didn't hurt the blade at all. Huh. Did you see that last piece of 8/4 we cut, how it kind of twisted as soon as the blade went through it?
Yeah.
As you get close to the center here, they get like stressed and pressure and things like that.
Okay.
So these we just use for like stack wood on and whatever.
Oh, I see.
Boy, not pretty. Nice Pennsylvania cherry right there. What do you think, miss?
That's pretty. It's beautiful.
Let's see what we got out of this one log here. I have 1 piece over there that I need to trim the bark off the end.
Okay.
And then we've got these 2 8/4 pieces. We can throw them back up on top here.
Yeah.
I'll get some measurements here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boards that are 9 inches wide, plus these 2 little pieces of 8/4 right here. And then I have 2 or 3 that I need to trim off, but that's not bad out of that one log. This is really, really nice lumber right here. Very clear, nice color to it. Should make somebody some nice furniture sometime or something.
All right, thanks for watching. Thanks to Simply Safe for sponsoring this video. If you like these videos, click like, subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.